Hi Sari, welcome to Zero to Pro. Nice to have you on board, and thank you for uploading your pictures. This is a great beginning. This is really a great beginning. Got a good camera, and you've done. This is really exciting. Okay, as a word of introduction, I say this to everybody, and you've gone above and beyond this right now. So it's kind of like speaking. What's it called? Preaching to the converted or something. Not converted to the preaching. Yeah, preaching to the converted. You've got each week, there's 3 things to do. There's watching the videos that obviously have to do. Then there's the homework, and then there's the photo shoot. Okay, the way I explain this to everybody is watching the videos that you get sent to you that you have to log into. That's like getting the information into your head, into your mind. Okay, then the homework gets it into your heart, means you actually understand it. But then the photo shoot gets it down into your hands. That's the point. That's where we need it to get to. It's a skill. Photography is a skill, and it needs to be that it becomes part of you, as in it becomes your hands. Because at that point, when especially the technical side of stuff, when that becomes part of you, then you're free to be as creative as you want, which is really what we want to do. Is we want to be artists and creative people. We don't just want to be technicians. Okay, so the photo shoot is absolutely essential. You have to do both each week. If you only have a chance to do one, then do both. But if you only have a chance to do one, then the photo shoot is more important. Okay, but you have to do both. The course is built on complete assumption that you're going to be doing all the homeworks and all the photo shoots each week. A photo shoot, 45-minute photo shoot. Another important thing is please make sure to label the images exactly as we ask you to. You did it a little different this week. It's okay for now, but please in future, it saves a lot of hassle for me, like logistically dealing with the images. So please just read exactly how they're meant to be labeled and label them accordingly. That will help me out. I'd appreciate that. Okay, that said, let's jump in. Okay, first image, triangle. Okay, we've been doing this for I've seen many of these now, and I appreciate this very much. It's symmetrical, which you've learned is a very important component of beauty. You have a strong triangle, that's great. What I would like you to think about and to do is something like this. I'm going to show you. I'm just going to take my webcam here, and I'm going to point my camera. Here we go. I just do it a different place every time. Now, do you see how I have now created a triangle? I can't write on my screen now because you won't see me. Whatever, you'll see as we go on that I write on my screen. But right now, you can see a triangle has been created with the door, those 2 pictures, and the top of the couch. Okay? Now that means that, let's do it another one. So let's see if I can do it from over this way. 1 second. 1 second, just getting a tour of my office here. Let's see. Do it a little bit better than that before. Let's see when a triangle appears. Any triangles here? Oh, 1 minute. Here we go. That's another triangle that we've created here with the light and the edge of my shelf. The point is that triangles, the concept of the triangle as a compositional element is not just the idea of, oh, there's a triangle. It's the idea of shapes and lines coming together that wouldn't necessarily make a triangle. Like the way you've done it here is you've arranged a fruit in the shape of a triangle. But if, for example, you get into a certain position where this line over here pops out and this line over here ends up becoming a diagonal, and so from only that vantage point, from that place, you've created a triangle. Okay, so you can do that for next week if you want to upload another bonus image with a triangle created that doesn't really exist, only from a very specific vantage point. Let's see if you can do that. You understand what I'm saying, yeah? Okay, good. Let's go forward. Pattern and depth. So would you call this, a pattern? I suppose you could call it a pattern. It's not. I suppose it would be a stronger pattern if we did something like this. Yeah, well, I mean, we defined a pattern as a reoccurring geometric sequence. So you could say that is the case, but let's see the other patterns that you got, which was here. That's for sure a pattern, and that is also for sure a pattern. So I don't know if you could really call that a pattern. It's a nice picture, that's for sure, and it's definitely got an element of perspective in there, for sure. Pattern, I'm not 100% sure, but definitely the depth perspective part, I give you that. Okay, depth, cousin friends on a hike. Okay, this is great. This is a lovely picture looking down the road. This is exactly what I was wanting you to do. If, however, you got down a little bit lower, yeah, this path would end up becoming even more dynamic. It would become a stronger perspective, a stronger triangle. The concept of perspective of triangle giving depth is because a triangle is basically a big arrow that points you. That's really bad. I always do it badly the first time. You'll get used to that. It points you into the picture. Okay, so your eye is going into the picture, and that gives the feeling of depth, which makes an image kind of exhilarating. We've got three primary shapes. You have a triangle, a square, and a circle. A triangle is much more dynamic, has a lot more movement, and a circle is more passive. A square is in the middle, but the middle line of it's a longer thing. We're not going to get into that right now. But in general, a circle is a passive shape. A triangle is a dynamic shape. So this dynamic movement is created primarily through triangles. Okay, that's the whole concept of depth perspective, is triangles. Okay, this is another great example of depth perspective. Perfect. Triangle going this way. Great, excellent, well understood. By the way, this has an added edge in that these vertical lines, there's two kinds of lines. There's horizontal lines and vertical lines. These vertical lines add energy. Horizontal lines generally make an image more passive. However, these have got a strong contrast, which means they also add an element of energy. So this is actually quite an energized image. Good shot. Excellent. Okay, here is texture. Yep, excellent. Well seen. I can't see what that actually is though. I really don't know what that is. That looks like some kind of rope. No idea. This is considered a soft texture, okay? Which means, just like we spoke about horizontal lines and vertical lines being energized, dynamic, and horizontal lines being more passive, so we have two kinds of textures. This is a soft texture. Okay, soft textures are obviously more passive, and this is a harder texture, even though it's made of circles, which are more passive. But a hard texture, which means there are hard lines going around, is a much more dynamic texture. So this image is actually very energized. You can even push it further by putting up the highlights. But that's a very energized image, and that's a very soft image. Now, understanding this deeply is really the key to understanding what backgrounds to use for subjects. For example, if you're taking a picture of a baby, you're probably going to be wanting to find some kind of texture that's much more soft and passive. If you're taking a picture of some like moody teenagers, you'd probably want to be looking for something that's harder, like a much more dynamic kind of texture. Okay, this is this is great. So you've got, actually, this is considered a hard texture. Okay, even though there's lots of soft lines, even though there's lots of free form, like curvy lines, you actually have hard differences between the shadows and the highlights and the midtones. Yes, that's become a hard texture. This is also a kind of gritty texture. It's a cute picture, especially the orange goggles bounces out from the blue. I'll tell you that this texture here is actually graphically worth a lot less than this texture here. So by cropping out this bit over here, I think just adding a little, what about even completely cropping out? That's quite a cute picture. Let's just have a look. That's quite cute if we straighten it. 1 second. It's quite a cute picture. Good shot. Basically the point is that this texture here graphically isn't really worth much. It's a horrible colour and it's kind of an awkwardly kind of feel. So not too into that. So could be an idea to get rid of that. Okay, this is a great pattern, a reoccurring geometric sequence. You understand that clearly. So too here. Very good. Very good. Excellent. Okay, so now this is your picture balance. You put this in twice as part of the photo shoot as well. So this image is balanced. Yeah, generally balanced. We've got a good direction moving in this, obviously in this direction. This is a problem. The finger's being cut off there. It could be a little bit better to actually crop the whole. No, I think it can't be much closer than this. Good. You're going to look back at these pictures in another few weeks and think, wow, look what you've come. There's so many things here that we could talk about, but it doesn't make sense because that's what the whole class is about. That's what the whole course is about. So in regards to balance, this is generally a balanced image. It could be we would need a little bit more room down here. But good. Moving into space, that's good. Okay, these are all your shoot. This is your shoot pictures. Oh, I should have read your comment, so let me read this. Okay, I tried it on my own, sent it as a comment. Some of the pictures are old ones, but they seem to fit the criteria of the assignment, and I like them, so I used them. Okay, however, just please do remember, like I said at the beginning, that the shoot is about actually doing it. It's even less about the actual pictures than getting out there doing it. So just keep that in mind. The photo shoot is from a day at the park. That's nice. I tried my 3-month-old granddaughter as a subject, but babies aren't so interesting. So I just continued shooting other grandchildren, included the good shots there. Okay, 3-month-old children are very difficult. From like newborns is a whole thing in itself. But once they're a little bit older than that, when a child can't sit, or can't really do anything, it's very, very difficult to take pictures of. The best thing that you can really do is get interactions between the babies and the parents. That's what I found to be the best option, unless you get involved in intricate ways of propping them up and stuff like that, and even then it's generally not a good idea. Also, I used one of the photo shoot pictures as a balanced one. I hope that's okay. We discussed that's fine. Okay. Let's go forward. So these are your photos. So your flash went off. As we can see, there's a couple of giveaways. Number one is the reflection of the flash in the eyes, and number two is this shadow underneath the chin. Okay, so try and keep your flash off. Right now, we're not going to be discussing any of these numbers at the side here because that's why you're on the course. We need to learn about that. Compositionally, it's nice. We've got actually a movement from this child this way, and this child, we're actually stationary. Okay, so the actual composition works quite nicely. You've got, it's a bit confusing in regards to lines. The actual shape is confused. I'm trying to think. I mean, really, you've got the shape of her over here, and then this line breaks it, but you've got another triangle over here. A little close. It's a little close to be able to see a shape form between them. But like I said, the directions are good, and this is a nice. Her direction looking straight at you holds your eyes. That's great. Okay, another shot. This is a nice shot. This is a nice shot. Here we've got a nice strong triangle here. That's great. Okay, her or his. Is that a little girl? I think it's a little girl. Her eyes are keeping you fixed, focused, like no movement from her face, which means this triangle is basically framing her beautiful little face. So that's a nice shot. This line here frames her as well. Good shot. Okay. General rule with taking pictures of people is turn them a little bit to the side. So this shoulder I'm assuming maybe that's your daughter or daughter-in-law. She should bring her shoulder towards you a little bit more. That would make the whole thing seem to flow a little bit better. As it is, we've got a triangle here. This is a problem that the triangle isn't actually in the frame, that it comes out of the frame. So either leave a little bit more room here, or if she brings her shoulder around this way and turns the baby to the side, that would complete everything. Okay, I do appreciate that you're cropping in close, you're paying attention to the space in the image. That's great. Okay, we saw this picture before. Okay, this is nice. It's a little bit out of focus, is it? This could be that it's because it's not quick enough. You'll learn about that in the next couple of classes. And this is also a nice shot. Again, like I said, the flash has gone off, as we saw in the last picture. It's nicely cropped in. That's very good. Also, another thing is that you're sensitive to the directions of the picture, leaving the right space in the right place. You see, we have less space over here than we do have over here, and you might not be aware of it like consciously, but you were feeling that because the direction of her face is moving in this direction, that we needed a little bit more room over here to give a balanced image. And you've really given a balanced image. That's excellent. Very good. Okay, pat on the back for that. So let's take this picture into Lightroom. Part of the course is we want to train you in Lightroom, and we found that the best way of doing that is by me taking your pictures into Lightroom. You're going to have the workshop in another couple of weeks. So until we do that, this is going to be a little bit like over your head, but just go with it, see what Lightroom's about, and it will start making more sense to you. And once you've done the workshop especially, it's going to make a lot more sense to you, and then you'll really start to jump in yourself, and please God, you'll become excellent at this as well. Okay, so I'm going to turn this into a black and white image. I really want to focus on her eyes. Okay, I want a lot of energy. This is, like we said, is primarily based on a triangle, and a triangle is an energized, dynamic shape. So I really want to add some energy to this picture. I'm going to use my paintbrush here, and I'm just going to get off my auto mask. Again, don't worry about the fact that this doesn't make so much sense to you right now, but we're just going to raise the exposure a little bit, put up a little bit of contrast here, okay, and a drop of clarity. Good. Okay, we're going to create a new pin. Again, I know you don't know what that is, but just enjoy this. Okay, now we're going to make her eyes a little brighter and a little more energized. Okay, I think in this case we can even go a little bit further, and I think we'll take away some of the shadow as well. Just have a look. Oh, there we go, that made a difference. Okay, now I want to add attention to my picture. We generally in post-editing, what we're trying to do is emphasize our subject. And the two ways of emphasizing our subject is, number one, emphasizing our subject, or number two, de-emphasizing everything else. So one of the primary ways of de-emphasizing everything else is by darkening it. So this is called a radial tool, okay? Now you're thinking, what are you doing, Diamond? Don't do that. You're ruining my picture. Click, and we flip it around. And I think I actually want to crop in a little bit closer. And I also want to add a little bit more energy to the hair here. I'm going to do that with our clarity tool, which is one of my favorite tools. There we go. Again, that's adding focus to our subject. Good. I think we're going to leave it there. Went from this to this. Good. Okay. So that was excellent. I'm very impressed, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you do for us in the future. Okay. All the best.